The most important thing about learning to get good at content is understanding the psychology of attention. They go onto LinkedIn and they see bad boss content. They think, oh, that's what I need to do to build a successful business. And that's not true.
Everyone who signs up has read a LinkedIn post of mine. You get 6.2 million ARR in 18 months.
That I didn't talk about, that I think is really important to people, is this custom button here. I think it's definitely the best feature they've built in the last few years.
And we are going to unfuck your LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back to the show. So today we're super happy to be joined by Will McTeague. He is a LinkedIn powerhouse, folks. He has over 400,000 followers. Not to shame Adam. Adam only has 140,000. I only have 10,000. So Will's going to give us a bunch. And Adam, what is everybody going to learn if they stick around until the end today?
So if you stick around to the end of the show today, you're going to walk away with three things. Number one is you're going to figure out how Will and I have grown to over 500,000 LinkedIn followers. Number two, we're going to talk about engagement circles and whether or not you should use them, which is a hot topic. And then number three, you're going to learn how to create a perfect profile page on LinkedIn that'll drive 10 times the leads that your page does right now. And we're going to tear down audience profile pages, and we are going to unfuck your LinkedIn, ladies and gentlemen.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, let's just freaking dive into it. We only have, 55 minutes left. So I think a great place to start. I'm curious, Will, you have a ton of followers, 400. I mean, you guys have over 500,000 between the two. To start, what are you getting out of this? Like, what you post, people engage. What do you actually tangibly get that is valuable?
Yeah. So there's probably three things. The first one is that I have a software business that my co-founder and I bootstrapped to more than 500K, which helps people to write better LinkedIn content. And so think like basically a chat GPT that actually knows how to write viral posts. Then it has like analytics and commenting or a feed to comment faster, amongst other things. So I built that business over the last 9 months and bootstrapped to just over 500K. The other thing is brand partnerships, just because like when you're at the scale that I'm at, you brands will pay like quite a lot of money for you to sponsored posts. So I think this year I'll probably do 150 top line in sponsored posts.
By the way, that's surprising to me. I didn't know that number was that high.
Yeah.
I haven't done a sponsored post yet. I allow agencies to do work for me for free in exchange for visibility. So Taylor Heron, Sam Dunning, Taylor Heron on email, Sam Dunning on SEO, and the Understory guys and ads, they all work for free,
amazing.
quote unquote. And I just include them as characters in my build in public. Back to you.
Yeah. I mean, that's worth tons. That's worth like,
I think it's worth more for them than it is for me, but it's a great relationship.
Yeah. Because if they get like 2 leads each or like two customers each from you, then that pays it back, basically.
For sure.
So there's that. And then like I think more broadly, so the final thing that I've started doing is a done for you personal branding agency for CEOs who are making more than 10 million a year in ARR. But like probably the most important thing about learning to get good at content is understanding the psychology of attention. Because like we basically have right now millennials and boomers who are CEOs who have no idea how to actually capture attention. And then you're seeing people like the Cluely founders who have basically are 22 years old and have grown up in this like new generation of founders where they're not just like founder hustlers, they're founder marketers. And I think like the older generation are going to get like absolutely destroyed if they don't learn this skill. So that's just more like a fundamental point that I think is pretty important.
Will, I feel so heard, the founder marketer. I've just like never identified as much with the term in my life as that. That's awesome. That's a great way. And by the way, I was talking to this super genius who I'm talking to again tomorrow, who is head of virality at Substack. So he was helping the newsletter writers with their social, basically, was what that job is. And he thinks about content. Viral content has to be one of three things. It has to have incredible substance. So think like
Yeah.
Huberman Labs or whatever, or Hormozy, right? It has to have incredible concept. So for concept, it's like, I love this podcast, the Founders Podcast. Dude reads the best, the biographies of the best founders ever and makes an hour about them. Or Money Wise, Sam Parr's podcast, which is like what rich people do with their money after they're rich. Incredible concept, right? Or it's Spectacle, which is like the Cluely thing, right? Or like,
Well, what do you mean by
Spectacle's like everything that Cluely does is spectacle, right?
Right.
Like, or like me, all the RB2B staff going off the grid for 7 days
Yeah.
and AI is running our business. Like that's pure spectacle. It is not substance. It is not, a concept, a core concept. So yeah, that's what social media wants. Those three things. It's like, you got to be hard on one of those three or a couple of those three, or you're toast.
100%. And I think the thing that a lot of people miss is they think, oh, I just need to do a launch video, and then it ends there. But it is just like a constant stream of ideas and spectacles that you need to do just to keep people interested. I don't know if you heard about Cluely specifically, but they've created a UGC farm of creators who they train on how to make viral content about Cluely, which they're bringing in now, they think, at less than $1 per CPM.
I mean, that's incredible. It's just, it's kind of like Andrew Tate-esque, right? Like,
Yeah.
Polarizing character, but he understands what we're talking about, right? Which brings us to, how did you get to over 400,000 subscribers? Like, how long did that take? What was the strategy? Kind of like, give us
So
a rundown.
I can give you the backstory. It's kind of funny. I started off, I graduated from Stanford and did a VC-backed company, building in the crypto space. Didn't really work. And so as I was closing it down, I was thinking, okay, what can I build next? And when I've been building it, I had this competitor who had this huge brand on X, and he would just walk into any meeting that he wanted. And whereas I was there, like tooth and clawing to get into
Yeah.
like any conversation. And it just made me realize, wow, this whole personal brand thing is powerful. So as I was shutting down that old business, I was trying to figure out, what do I build next? And so I started posting on LinkedIn. Initially, it was just like whatever thoughts came to my mind. And then over time, I started to realize, oh, social media is actually a game. And if you learn the frameworks on how to outperform, you can really do so, because there is also very little talent in social media, relatively. Like, going back to our earlier point, you don't get many founders of big companies who devote even like one intellectual cycle to content. And that just means there's an arbitrage for smart people who decide to focus on it. So yeah, and then started posting on LinkedIn, and then realized, like, what did I have some right to speak about? At that point in time, I'd worked at a few like prestigious places, like, I don't know, Goldman Sachs, and I'd gone to Stanford. And so I just posted initially like career advice content. And
LinkedIn loves that career stuff.
yeah, because like thinking about the psychology of the platform, like, why do people come on LinkedIn? Typically it's because they want to change job, or they're like unhappy in some way in their career. And like the TAM for that content was just like ginormous. Like I've now had more than like 320 million views on my content in 18 months. And a big part of that is that if you're speaking to a lot of people, then if it's good, it's relevant to them as well.
Yep. And by the way, my numbers, so that's 320 million views in 18 months. I looked today, I've gotten 16 million in the last 12 months, which I think, so it's 1.3 million a month. It's way less than yours. But, I'm also, the TAM of what I'm talking about is much smaller.
Exactly.
Right? It's like the people who are reading my stuff are people who are trying to do the same thing that I'm doing successfully, which is like bootstrapping SaaS startups.
And I think
there's a lot of them. There's more than like public company CEOs or whatever, but like it's probably, in the tens of thousands of people who really care about this stuff. you know, and if you include
100%.
go-to-market professionals, maybe it's like 250,000 people like really care about what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people miss is they go onto LinkedIn and they see bad boss content just like flying everywhere and they think, oh, that's what I need to do to build a successful business. And that's not true. Like you can have niche content that performs well, but it still needs to be good.
Yes. I mean, well, that that's the only thing that's going to make it work. You know.
Yeah.
And if you were to ask me what I'm getting from it, I would just drop the RB2B public barometrics dashboard. And like, I'm not kidding you, it's all from LinkedIn. Like we started doing ads and email again maybe 3 months ago, and now my web traffic is now probably 20 or 25% that. But like everyone who signs up has read a LinkedIn post of mine.
Yeah.
100%. Right. And like, I don't know if the strategy that I went after was like, I want 1 million followers. I'm going to talk about HR and like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. If that would actually be the case, you know?
Yeah. And
I have
I was going to say,
sorry.
Pete, like if you already have a clear business, then it makes sense to talk about that business. But I guess I was just in a transitional period where I didn't have a new business at that point in time. So that's just what I'd say to the audience as you think about this yourself.
I have a couple questions for each of you, actually. So to start, just because I know the audience is hearing a lot of big numbers, right? 400,000 followers, 140,000 followers. Um, when did you start, Will? And then I'll ask the same to Adam. When did you
I
start
started,
posting?
posted my first post on the 9th of February, 2024.
That's insane. Dude, are you kidding me?
Bananas.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to you there.
Yeah.
But Adam, when did you start?
I started September 2022. This was me before Alec Paul, and this is me after Alec Paul. Actually, Alec started in July. This is me writing about e-commerce content when we only had retention.com. This is me when I started writing only about B2B SaaS and my experience in B2B SaaS. And then in December, we decided to build a product. So 2 months in, because the content was doing so well, we decided to build a product to sell to these people because we didn't have one. And that was RB2B. And we launched RB2B in March of 2024. But the first post was September 2022.
Can I make another funny observation here? I remember getting we were having some sort of Slack conversation, maybe somewhere around that, maybe August or September 24 ish. And you're like, I think LinkedIn's going to start being capped out. Like, I think we've gotten all these people. And then we look at the chart and it is not stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Now I don't know how to unshare my screen. Where is this? Oh, here it is. Stop share. Boom.
Now, I'm shocked to hear you say February of last year of 2024. So I think what everybody's probably thinking at this point, some people may know about them, some don't. These engagement pods, right? Like these groups of people who will kind of engage on your posts. That way they can accelerate your growth and visibility. Did you use those, Will?
In the early days, I went and like met a ton of other creators. And so like I would do calls with other creators on LinkedIn. And I basically built like a little tribe. So the reason I give that as a description is like I think engagements pods is like a pretty nebulous concept. Like, what does that actually mean? Because like if it's a bunch of people who you've met and who you're hacking like ideas with all the time, then like that to me is how you start a startup. Like you go and talk to people initially, you become friends with them, and you grow together. So I did that, but I didn't get involved in any groups of people that like I didn't know. I didn't use any automated tools for anything like that. But I did build a community.
You use
And
automate? Oh, yeah. Adam, I'm curious. Yeah. Tell your experience on it.
So yeah, and by the way, before Alec, I was using an engagement pod strategy. I was paying one guy specifically. I was paying two different people with really big followings to engage against my posts. It definitely helped with the distribution. The concern is that it was attracting an audience who is not in my ideal customer profile, either for residential.com, which sells to Shopify stores, or, I mean, the B2B thing wasn't even a thing at the time. However, I had 0 followers and I wanted like 20 or 30,000 just for this, like, I don't know, like minimum viable presence of a sort of big
Yeah.
account or whatever. So I did it and it was fine. I think that anybody who did a breakdown of my audience today and like who the people are that are commenting, given what I sell, and looked at that versus, at the beginning of 2023 or whatever, they would say that whatever I'm doing now is what I should be doing. So, question to you, Will, do you feel like, I mean, it's just interesting because your content is broad intentionally
Yeah.
because you serve a broad audience. But do you feel like getting involved in these engagement pods who comment on each other's posts, do they attract bots? Do they attract engagement that is not real? Is it detrimental in any way? Or is it just like, you might as well have these posts go as broad as possible, and that's a strategy,
I think you want to build a support base of people who are posting about similar stuff and people who are talking to the same ideal audience. Because, for example, if you take you and you were to have a bunch of, say, life coaches commenting on your posts, like the audience that would attract is not relevant for you. But I think that you do need to, in the early days of your LinkedIn journey, if you're really actually starting from zero, you do need to build a group of people. And I don't think you should use automations to do that. I do think you should just get to know people who are on the same journey and actually support each other. Because like, and over time, this should become less and less important because over time, this should become less important as LinkedIn's algorithm gets better at serving good content to the right audience. But right now, it's not.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is that for a lot of people, like they haven't had a successful exit before or like built a big business. And so for them, getting anyone to even stop their scroll is a lot harder than for someone like you who'd already built a business that had, 20 million in ARR.
Yeah, I mean, that sentence alone gets an early stage founder to stop their scroll.
Exactly.
I bootstrapped 20 million ARR. It's like, oh,
okay.
Let me see what else you have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And most people aren't in that position.
So I want to dive more into this, like right? Everyone here's scroll stopping content. We're gonna dive, folks. We're gonna dive pretty deep into that in a little bit. A couple other things coming up. We are going to go through an actual LinkedIn profile, talk about what makes a great LinkedIn profile, right? Once people see your content and click on your profile, you want them to be somewhat impressed in who you are. And at the end, probably with about 15 minutes left, what we're going to do, we're going to have people start dropping in links to their posts, to their profiles, and we're going to have Will and Adam actually break those down, which will be awesome. So that's what's coming up. And I guess let's start getting into those topics. So I think now's a good time to dive into the profile. So Will, do you want to share your screen and kind of go through what would make a great, what makes a great profile? And maybe a brave soul can drop in theirs who knows theirs. Oh, yeah, dude. Okay. We already have some coming through, so we can pull those up whenever. But I'll have you take it away.
I love Timmy, by the way. I've been on his podcast before. He's a great guy. Tim,
what's up?
Thanks for being such an awesome dude.
And speaking of call outs, Sam Novak joined a couple weeks ago when the Understory folks were on and went through some cold outreach. So we got
nice.
Good.
What up, Sam?
Folks.
So everybody, I'm gonna start with a banner that I really like, because like maybe just stepping back, the point of your LinkedIn profile is so that once you've created content that speaks to your target audience, that they want to learn more, because typically that's what interested people do, is they go from reading your content to trying to understand a bit more about you, and basically if you are a fit for whatever they're trying to do. Yeah, so I think the most important thing on this banner is that it is super clear who Desma serves. Like you go to her page, And if you are a business expanding in the UAE who needs an HR partner, you know immediately whether this is or is not for you. And the biggest mistake that people make with their LinkedIn profiles is you don't enable people to qualify or disqualify themselves immediately because they're unclear. So that's what I really love about this one. So the one thing, I do think there's one thing though that potentially could be a bit better here. What do you think it is?
While we're waiting for those to come through, well, I just want to point out we've had some great LinkedIn people on the on the show. I think you have the biggest following, perhaps, but I just want to point out literally everybody that I talk to is good at LinkedIn. The first thing they will tell you if they look at a post or something is like, who is this for? That actually expands beyond LinkedIn. It's for all sort of content and copy. But like, folks, when you're writing posts, writing descriptions, like who, like people should know if it's for them or not. I mean, very, very clearly. So I just want to point out a trend that we hear over and over from people who are really good at this for the audience.
So,
100%.
and by the way, I was going to say the same thing these last 3 comments said.
Yeah.
It's like the CTA should punch you in the face, and it doesn't,
Exactly.
in my opinion.
Exactly. So you all got it. That is the thing that I think this banner is missing. But otherwise, I think it is like fantastic. So the takeaways there for you are make it super clear in your banner who this is for, add social proof, and have a clear CTA that tells people what to do next, which would typically be subscribe to your newsletter or follow you are the 2 main ones. Or if you're advertising a specific program, then you could have that there as well. So start with the banner. That's a fun one that most people get wrong. The profile picture, I think, is very simple because really what you want to do is just have a picture of you close up smiling and without distracting backgrounds. So ideally, and I think Adam has this, you have a background that is in your brand colors around your face. So I think Adam's is green. Is that right, Adam?
Well, it's actually tan. I just had one headshot come in better. I look better than I've ever looked in my life, 10 times better than any other photo. And that's been my headshot since the day it got taken, and probably will remain that forever.
Nice. So what people can do is they can take a picture of you, like a close-up like this, where you can see the whites of your eyes, and put it in remove.bg, and to remove the background color and make it the same as your brand colors. Or you can frankly now just put it in ChatGPT or Google Gemini Nano Banana and get it to create a solid background for you, because the AI tools for image generation are great now. So that's it on the profile picture. That's a pretty simple one. Okay, now let's talk about the headline. I should probably pick someone else for this next one, but I think this headline I think is decent. I don't think it is as strong, and I want you to drop in the chat why. And really the goal here is that you start to build the muscle yourself for noticing this stuff.
A lot of people saying too long. You agree with that?
100%. Too long. Because I don't know about you all, but when I see a headline that is 4 lines long, I just don't read it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think most people do. They see something 4 lines and they just go, I can't be bothered. So in this instance, what I'd do is I would just kill this first sentence. I'd have helping international companies set up probably HR operations in the UAE. And then I would add next to it a piece of clear social and relevant social proof. So a bad example of social proof next to this would be Forbes 30 under 30, because it's totally irrelevant for your target audience that you've actually helped people like them before. So what you'd more likely want to do is have something like trusted partner to 15 conglomerates or something along those lines, because it ties in with who you're helping immediately.
What about the UAE's top 1% HR creator as the first thing on there? What are your thoughts about that?
Personally, I'm not a massive fan of that. I'm just not sure the target audience care about it.
Yeah, that was my, it's like, how is that helping her customers?
Yeah.
You know,
It's kind of similar to when people put their best performing LinkedIn posts in their featured section. Because it's like, who cares that your post did really well? Not your target audience, that's for sure.
but by the way, I have a LinkedIn post in my feature section right now, but it's not because it's the best performing. It's because I want as many people as possible to read about the AI stunt and subscribe to the
Yes.
newsletter at the end of the post. It's like a very different motivation, you know?
Yeah. And it's important just to think about what is the goal of whatever you have there. But maybe we'll start next we can just look at mine for the about section because I redid this recently. Yeah, so I think with about sections, what people typically do wrong is they write their life story. Let me zoom that in a bit. So they'll include basically everything they've done since they were 18 years old, or they'll just have an AI generated kind of buzzword soup that is like a bunch of just a short paragraph. And that is, again, you need to think about your target audience in mind. So what are their pain points? And then weave in parts of your journey that are relevant to it. So, for example, here I touch on some of the challenges that my target audience have, which is turning LinkedIn into like real business growth. And then I have a little bit of social proof here on what I've achieved. And then my journey in the context of not really believing in social media, but then achieving something pretty meaningful. And then the next important thing to have is how can you help whoever you want to help? And just make it like super clear. So for example, in my case, I have a do-it-yourself product for solopreneurs, coaches, and consultants. But then I also have, a done for you for founders and CXOs. So I just make it very clear here. So the other important thing as well that a lot of people get wrong is they don't include line spacing and they don't make it easy to read. Because again, when we looked at our headline, if it's 4 lines, people won't bother reading it. Like that's how short attention spans are. And the same applies here as well. Like every word needs to fight for its place in whatever you're doing. Like people's attention spans are just so unbelievably short that like creating content and creating anything on social media is basically the equivalent of busking on the street. Like someone's walking past, they are going somewhere else, and you've got to say something so interesting that they decide, okay, I need to stop and read this and listen to this person. And I don't know about you in the audience, but how many times have you stopped to someone busking? It's probably not
0.
that many.
Yeah. What does it mean?
I mean, a couple of things. One, like everything you're saying applies to. I just want everyone to know really applies to everything outside of LinkedIn too. Like this is like this idea of being ruthless about cutting down your word count, speaking to letting people know exactly who you're speaking to, being very pragmatic and sort of concise about what you're going to do, how you're going to help them. Like especially online, I mean, I almost wish we had like, I mean, I know we have screen count tallies and as creators you get a impression count, but it would be almost interesting to see how many things are impressed upon you throughout the day on your phone. I think it would almost give us a good idea. I mean, it's thousands and thousands of pieces of content, and we're like high speed hunters of value. We're looking for something funny, interesting, insightful, whatever it is. And just next time anybody's scrolling through social media, just try to notice the speed at which you do it, because it's truly alarming. Like I see, people scroll through TikTok. I'm like, how do you even understanding what they're about to say? But we're so good at instinctively knowing within a split second if it's going to be of value to us. And that's what you're showing us here is making sure people know within a split second they're about to experience value.
Yeah, and the thing I'd add to that, Pete, that's why if you go on YouTube or even on LinkedIn and you see a YouTube video that says everything you need to know about networking in 15 minutes, what you're basically saying here is like, I'm going to deliver a ton of value in a very short period of time. And that's what people are really optimizing for. They want as much value as possible, 20 years of Adam's experience in 60 seconds.
And they're almost like taking a bet on you. They're like wagering their attention They're like,
100%.
okay, 15 minutes networking. Like, I have 15 minutes to see that. I really do need to learn about this. Even if I don't, it's only 15 minutes. And you're like doing this attention bet in your head. And it's like, otherwise I can watch, the recommended video of some guy who set up a squirrel obstacle course in his backyard, which, like, honestly, pretty intriguing. Like, that's a good attention bet as well. So you're up against a lot here. That's YouTube, obviously, but okay. So we have the about section. Let's get down to this. Well, actually, let's start with the featured, and then we'll get down into the experience.
Yeah. So featured section, generally what I recommend people putting here is some lead magnet of some form. So anything that you can get people to give you their email address for something valuable. So one of the things that I have 2 different personal branding courses. I have one that is an 8-day email sequence, because I want to get them used to just opening my emails. And then the other one is a short video course that I actually need to put here. I also am going to kill this like one-to-one coaching thing, because I don't really do that anymore. And the other thing as well is like newsletter. So all of those do email capture. The other thing that I think is really valuable is having like video testimonials here as well. Because if someone has gotten to your website or saw your landing page, which is what I basically call LinkedIn profiles, and they're interested in potentially what you sell. And if you have social proof, ideally like video, or it could be text case study, that it seems very believable, they're more likely to convert or take the next step. And so, here's a designer who helped me in the early days of my LinkedIn journey. And I did a video testimonial for him. God, this was, over a year ago now. And I still today have people coming up to me saying, or people who I talk to saying, oh, I saw your video testimonial and that's what made me pull the trigger. So Adam, you could wrap that into your package with the agencies that you help.
Yeah.
I think you've done that, but it's not like a formal, thing, but that's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I should do that. You're right. As a solid for them. So on mine, what I have right now, which is new, I have that LinkedIn post. I'm trying to get people to read about the fact that we went off the grid for 7 days and AI ran our entire business, because it's spectacle. It's a stunt. And there's email collection at the end of that. I have a very bad thumbnail for RB2B. Like I just need to change the CTA there, but like, it's literally just like trying to drive people to the website. And then I think that's trying to push people to the podcast channel I have, but I should really have a testimonial there. You know what I mean? Like,
you could also put that as your YouTube, push it to YouTube.
Yeah. If we're upping the YouTube game, which we're trying to, then yes. Push people.
Also, as we're going more, just so like people can, I want people to know how we're thinking about this. Like, Adam and I have been talking a lot about, like, people who have been here. We have founders on here. We had the Vimeo and College Humor founder on last week. This is a very tactical episode. The week before, we kind of rotate between these tactical and this founder story stuff. And it seems like this tactical stuff is very valuable for everybody. But just going along with that, the more tactical it is, the more screen shares there are, the more terrible of an experience it is on Apple Podcasts. I actually didn't upload the Jesse Ouellette one for that exact reason onto Apple Podcasts.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Audience, do you prefer tactical or founder story content? Tell us. Would you rather sit here and learn how to optimize your LinkedIn page, or hear Josh Abramson last week talk about, what it was like 20 years ago to like sell College Humor and Vimeo? Yeah, 100% tactical.
Yeah.
It kind of tells you everything you didn't know right there.
There's
tactical on Zoom, founder stories on podcast. That's probably
nice.
Yeah.
I'll roll with that, Neil. Yeah.
If I'm gonna roast yours a little bit more here, I think these images need to be resized, because I can't actually read them.
Yeah. I agree. I'm gonna put that on my list, redo these thumbnails. It needs a fresh look anyway.
And let's go. I'm curious about the experience. Well, the activity. First of all, Neil Robertson. Did we go to high school together? Are you that Neil Robertson? Second, activity. Can you pin that, or is that all like just? Is that just chronological?
You can't pin, but you could add one of these to your featured section. But we already discussed that you shouldn't do that. The one other thing that I unless you have a specific reason. The other thing that I didn't talk about, I think is really important for people, is this custom button here. So here it says like visit my website. And this is, people really sleep on this. So I would have this with a UTM link in it, so you can track how much website traffic just comes through your custom button. Because, you know, in Adam's case, he gets what? Like how many views do you get a month? Like 1 million?
I get 1.3 million per month, and that flows through to, I'm going to show my Google Analytics here. That flows through to
I'll stop sharing.
7.6 thousand uniques a week, which is 30,000 a month.
Okay.
All from LinkedIn. I mean, literally 85% from LinkedIn. They're reading my posts and they're clicking that button and they're going to RB2B.
And so they're coming through that custom button that we were just looking at, or is it
Yeah.
somewhere else?
They're coming through the visit my website, I think.
Right. Yeah.
That's next to my title on the post. Cause like, I think it's the greatest feature of LinkedIn, by the way.
100%.
It's incredible that you can get posts in front of millions of people, and that visit my website can be directly under your description, which should kind of be an indirect CTA,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I think it's definitely the best feature they've built in the last few years, like by a country mile.
For sure.
So we had the call to action in the banner because of that button, and I think I saw this question earlier. Like, should that call to action in the banner be different because we do have that? You know, we already have that call to action out there for the website. Should it be a podcast, a resource, a demo, whatever it might be?
It really depends on what your like top business priority is. Like, I mean, visit my website is only relevant for like off-platform things. So if you want to get people to your to your website, to your newsletter, that's generally what I would recommend. Whereas you could have in your banner, just give me a follow, which is a softer CTA. We've got a question here. Do you recommend visit my website over book an appointment? I would test out both. You may find if you have book an appointment that I would track who comes through to your book an appointment page and see what the bounce rate is, because it may be easier to get people to give you their email address than commit to an appointment like upfront. And so, yeah, exactly. I think it requires less work from them. So that's how I think about that.
It's also gonna be a big commitment. Like the website, I mean, if you have a good website, that'll show them, even like that should make them even more compelled to book a meeting. It's basically like just another step in the funnel. You know, we go from here. Now, of course, there's always funnel decay. That's why it's a funnel, not a plate. But like, you know, ultimately they're gonna learn more. And if your website's good, and it's all the more reason to spend a lot of time on your website and making it good. But then they can book a call from there. Is my philosophy on that in most cases.
So my view, look, for us, it's no question. We don't do demos. And it's a CT, it's like a freemium sales funnel where I'm just trying to push as much qualified traffic as humanly possible to our webpage. So like, and by the way, this is also interesting. So it's there's absolutely no question that I should be sending people to the website. Here's the actual numbers of RB2B, which I just like love. I have never done this before. This is the whole machine, right? 1 million impressions a month, 165,000 cold emails per month from Taylor Heron, 10K ads from Understory and SEO. Then we have this show, which you guys are on right now, average 250 attendees. I think there's like 187 max concurrent right now. We have 50,000 subscribers to our newsletter, which kind of sucks because we're only promoting the show. I'm probably going to increase the scope of that in the near future. Then all of that top of funnel generates 30,000 uniques a month, which I just showed you our Google Analytics. We do 1,000 AI clone chats with my Delphi clone every month, people asking questions, demos, SOC 2 stuff, whatever. Then we get 2,000 free signups from that, which you can see here. There's last 30 days, 2,063 new trials. That leads to 264 customers, which is, so what's cool is of 30,000 visits, 6.6% people create a free account, which is crazy because we've done no conversion optimization. Then 12.5% of them become customers. And what really crushes us is last 30-day cancellations are 180%, and that's like 8% a month. But if you add all that together, you get 6.2 million ARR in 18 months. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. That is our B2B. I'm done. I'm leaving.
Do you
All right.
find that do you find that the clone is really effective at driving people onto trial?
We have it trying to encourage people to sign up for trials in the chat. I think the friction by design is so low that it was either the clone or a person answering the same questions with the same
Right.
efficacy. That's my genuine belief, because we had a person doing it before, and now it's just like it's the same metrics. The whole barometrics dashboard is like identical. So it's not that I think it's like those questions need to get answered somehow. And there's
Yeah.
a certain amount of people that will not find the information on your website. They're just unwilling to dig for it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think the story is. I think it's like it just serves this incredible 24/7 function of like answering the 10 main questions in the 100 long tail that like people end up having.
I think also too, because people are coming in through like your LinkedIn and your content and kind of the public persona you have, like it is more fun to choose the voice option or like chat with you. Like even its text is like clearly you, which is kind of fun. And it's just like, I don't know, it's like it's more intriguing than like hopping in and I love Rob. Rob's great. But you know, people are like your face is on the website. They come from your LinkedIn page to there. And like it's just kind of this like fun thing. And it's yeah. So I just want to add that's like another reason we do it. It should, or you know, whatever. So
Yeah. I'm just curious because I should probably give it a try myself.
Oh yeah, you for sure should. For sure.
100%. 100%. Especially it's funny when it like matches the voice. Like, yeah, it's just it's incredible. Matches the tone, the voice. Okay, let's move into okay. So we've done a lot of profile stuff. I think what would be great is, folks, is there a post that you've had recently that did not take off, even though you spent a lot of time on it? You think it's a great story, a great concept. We're gonna pull those up. We'll do a screen share and actually go through them. So start dropping in your posts. I'm gonna pull up my LinkedIn and do a share, and then we'll start tearing through here. And
This is so much fun.
yeah, this is. I love when we do that. Like, yeah. Well, let's start here though.
I can take some of those questions in the chat in the meantime. So how often should we be posting content? What's the general rule from Danielle? I would say up to once a day, but I don't think you need to go more than that.
I do
You 3
I
times.
do like 3 per week right now, and then we're doing 1 to promote this show. And then I'm doing another YouTube series. I'll probably do another one to promote that YouTube video. So I'm going to be like up to 5. And yeah, it has worked. I think we say.
All right. First post here. And we can just go through, yeah, we'll do about a minute per post so we can get a lot of them in.
So I also would love people to drop in the chat what they think is wrong about it as well, because it's useful to just tune your eye for what is good content. I mean, the immediate thing that I think sticks out to me here is I hate questions as hooks because they require the reader to do work. You have to think, have you ever felt like your kindness is running dry? Question mark. The reader has to then think about this. And personally, it's something that like I don't really like. I prefer authority hooks, which would be something like, I built a business with no VC funding to 20 million ARR is an authority hook, or something that path interrupts.
And can I make an argument for the authority hook that's coming from Alec Paul? This is just me repeating his words. So he says, you must treat LinkedIn as though the person has never heard of you before. It's a professional network, and you have to maximize your credibility between the description that they're going to see of you and that hook. Otherwise, why the fuck am I going to stop my scroll here? Right? Like
100%. 100% agree with you. And yeah, I mean, that's probably the most important thing. The other stuff is like I personally don't like italics. I don't like bold. I think it's slightly harder to read. I guess as I look through it, there's none of your experience in here. And I think as there's more and more content created purely by AI, because it's just easier to write stuff, I think it's even more important to wrap in your experience into every single post. I don't know, Adam, anything you'd add to that?
No, that a governing principle of mine has been that it's like what in a world of AI, because I shared an office with the Jasper guys for 2 years before they started Jasper and for the 2 years after they started Jasper. And I was just looking at what it was doing, and it was doing what ChatGPT is doing now. It's like, what's the only thing this thing is not going to be able to do? Tell my stories. That's it. It can tell anybody else's stories except yours.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you can use it to like, I've found it be amazing at summarize, like more concisely and clearly articulating ideas and sort of formatting for LinkedIn. But like the bones have to come from you. Like they have
yeah.
to come from.
Well, I mean, the more valuable stuff is going to, people will value your experience more than something that is not your experience, because something that is generic and not experience can just be created by this thing in 1 second.
Yeah.
And it's going to
To,
be everywhere, right?
to give you an example, someone could, two people could leave, two people could talk about the same message. If one person in their hook says that they have done some life experience to make people, to make it such that people should listen to them because they have real experience and authority, that post is just going to perform better. Often the messages are pretty similar in different posts, but you just need to give people a reason to actually listen to you in the first place.
And in another example of this, just and we'll move off the topic after I said this, I was talking to a YouTube guy who's like, you know, versus all the other people creating SaaS content right now, I have the ability to say I did this, whereas like, you know, Dan Martell, he hasn't done anything in a SaaS company for 15 years, right? So it's like I did this versus you should do this
Yeah.
is like the I did this for the same reason that you're saying. It like deeply cuts through to an audience who like, whether they know it or not, they're seeking that type of authenticity and human experience, right? Like
100%. Okay, now our rant is over. We can look at this post. So I'm looking at the hook, and as we go through all these, I'm always just going to look at the hook first because that's what makes someone decide whether to listen or not. And let's read it out loud. If someone can't make sense of what you do, it's not their lack of smarts. Dot dot dot.
I'm not really sure what that means, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit unclear. Like lack of smarts makes me have to pause and think. And my usual rule is if I have to think at all in the hook then it's probably not a good hook. So I don't know about you, Adam. What do you think?
Yeah. What's the best hook you think you've ever written?
The best hook I've
Yeah.
written? Oh,
I can give you mine.
I mean,
Ready?
yours is yeah, tell me.
6th Sense just threatened to sue me over a viral LinkedIn post. See more with the cease and desist attached.
Yeah. And like what that does, everyone, is it creates tension and people want to know the answer. And that's also why like Adam's customer support challenge, where they basically said, we're going offline for a week. Is our business going to break? That's why so many people followed along, because the outcome was unclear and seemed like high stakes. So, I had a discussion with a client yesterday. They're sponsoring a big conference. And we were like, okay, how can we turn this into a spectacle, to use Adam's words? And we're going to say, it cost us this much to sponsor this conference. For it to be worth it, we need to achieve X number of new clients. How are we going to do this? And it does exactly the same thing. So you can replicate this for your own business as well. It just
The hook.
I mean, by the way, I would read that post. I'm not even going to a conference. Like I just want to know.
Yeah.
The hook is really like the trailer too. Like, I mean, like folks, I mean, think of when you like watch a movie trailer. I mean, usually when everyone watches a good movie trailer and then they see the movie, they say, well, all the good things were in the trailer. Like fucking obviously, they're not going to put the bad stuff in there. You need to put like all of the, you kind of want to like put all the juice up front and win their attention, win a minute of them to read, and then, kind of intrigue them through, like have it be thoughtful and well spaced and everything so they can kind of rip through, but like let them know exactly what they're about to get out of this post. I mean, that's what the hook is all about.
Yeah.
Why,
So going back
why
to
did
post,
why does Sixth Sense want to sue Adam? Like, I definitely want to know.
Yeah.
so much tension. And
All right, let's go to the next one here.
All right.
We have our friend Timmy going up. All right.
Timmy.
Timmy's strategy of waterboarding everybody else worked, or whatever it is.
This chicken suit thing. Well, by the way, can we just talk about the chicken? Yeah, good job, Timmy. Chicken suit, chicken emoji. Do you like it? Just off the bat. I think it's interesting.
Oh, sorry, you're talking to me? I thought you were talking to
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen someone with a chicken suit and then a chicken emoji in their name.
It definitely makes me stop my scroll. I also think the hook is actually good. I think my career started after getting robbed 3 times, 2 times with a knife. I think you probably don't need this both these details. The fact that you got robbed 3 times and twice with a knife. I think you could just say, my career started after getting robbed twice with a knife, just for simplicity. Now let's have a look. What is next?
Or 3 times with a knife for embellishment.
Yeah, exactly. Now open my first submission was in 21. I guess, like, as I read through this post now, I don't really know what the point is that you're making for the reader. So if I look at the top, I see that you're a HubSpot. You help with like HubSpot playbooks. And now I'm reading what feels like your career story. I think it feels a bit like a story dump rather than something that is serving your audience. So you might want to bring in some relevant parts of what you did. So for example, here's what a self-defense school taught me about HubSpot, or something along those lines, because that just like creates a bit more intrigue. It also ties in.
So I was watching this fabulous YouTube video, which, man, I'll try to find it before the end of the thing. It was Greg Eisenberg interviewing this guy named Nick Case, and he takes Eisenberg's idea and creates a fully fleshed out post. One thing that Nick Case said was, the internet has made us incredibly good at just glancing at a post and trying to pick out the basically 3 bullet summary of it. Right. So like, I was kind of scanning that, and like halfway down, I'm like, why am I reading this? Right. Like, it is another way of what you said. It's like, I should be able to glance at it and like subliminally, I should be getting pulled in deeper with the value that I'm actually going to get out of it. And it wasn't evident like halfway through.
Yeah. And I think just to summarize that point, we've now looked at both bookends where someone doesn't talk about anything related to their story in their post, and then someone just talks about their own story that's not relevant for the target audience. And you actually want to be in the middle, where you bring in stories that make a point that your target audience cares about.
And by the way, those are my best posts. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a listicle. It's like a story about, I'll find one and drop it in. It's like a story about like my VC backed friend who wasted 13 years, told me I wasn't ambitious enough, and then like wound down his business the month that we made $1 million of profit. Right. Like, super relevant for my audience. Right. But like an actual hero's journey within the post, you know?
Yeah. I remember reading that post and be like, wow, that's a great story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on to this one. The recent Drift and Salesforce issues have caused a lot of disruption, especially for marketing teams that rely on it for web chat and email reply management through Drift email. What does everyone think in the chat? For me, this just feels like a description as a hook. It's not, it doesn't make me curious about what happens next. What about you, Adam?
Yeah, it's like I want edutainment. This is like edu. You know, like uh maybe if I were like if like Tarun was like the level of uh who who's the guy who like yells about stocks online and he's always wrong about it, or
Jim Kramer.
yeah, if you were like Jim Kramer and like people are like known for his and people are just like that analysis, I'm used to reading it every day, that's what I'm showing up for. um but I think you would need to do that for 10 years to like build an audience of people that are like, you know, the same audience
Yeah.
that I have built in a year. It's just going to be a very long road trying to build an audience without the fundamentals of attention that are necessary to like dominate social media. Doing that. Like I want something to make this is just it's too the analysis is too dry in my opinion.
I think that's a great kind of place to kind of wrap things up. Like if you are writing for people's entertainment. This is the reason that when you ask people what their favorite business book, 0% of people recommend a textbook, right? Like you do want it to be sort of like you want some good story in there. You want to learn something. We are pretty greedy with our attention. Like there's
100%.
just so many things that can occupy it. And no one is compelled to read your post. You need to make them curious. And curiosity is kind of the best word to sum up that first sentence that we've been going through here. Will, dude, I mean, come on, this was a great show. Thank you so much for joining.
Great.
This was fantastic.
Hopefully
We've got to
we
have
can
you
turn it
back.
into a badass episode on YouTube too.
That's right. It will be live on YouTube Friday and everywhere else that you get your podcasts. Next week, we have Sam Dunning. He's going to talk about SEO. And I'm going to ask him point blank, is it even working these days? Because I'm going to show him how much.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it to do anything?
It's worth it to do anything. And can you get these bots to recommend your stuff? Like, I got a lot of questions for Sam. We're going to ask all of them. Thank you all for joining. We will be back next week. And
Will, let's do this again sometime, Will. I think there's other parts of LinkedIn we could probably explore with equal.
Oh, there's so much.
Sort of whatever. So yeah, we'll hit you up.
only scratch the surface.
All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Will.
Bye, everybody.